super important that this publication exists. Can you also kind of touch a little bit on like how this publication has changed over time?
Sure. When I think I first wrote the initial edition, we're talking maybe 15, almost 20 years ago. So we knew less about medical cannabis, its safety and utility then than we do now. And obviously, there was just far less data and research with which to glean from at that time. Our understanding and the science and study of cannabis, and medical cannabis in particular, has grown exponentially almost every year over the past 2 decades. So, for example, while we might have had 800 or 1,000 peer-reviewed studies published specific to cannabis in the year 2001, now we have 3,500, almost 4,000 studies published about cannabis every year. We have a totality of research that extends beyond 38,000 published studies, over half of which have been published just within the last couple of decades. We know about the ECS, the endogenous cannabinoid regulatory system. This system really explains how cannabis works and interacts with the human body, why it does what it does, why it has the safety profile it has. Scientists didn't know about the ECS until the late 1980s, and they really didn't begin to fundamentally understand it until about a decade after that. So these are really important, pivotal scientific discoveries that have only been made within the last few years. And the latest edition of this publication reflects all of that. There's over 450 scientific studies that are summarized and cited in this publication. It's assessing the safety and efficacy of cannabis in over 20 different patient populations. And the reason this is called clinical applications for cannabis is because the science that we're talking about in this publication focuses primarily on human studies. We're not talking about what individual cannabinoids might do in a culture. We're not talking about cannabis studies involving rats. We're talking about human data. And now we have ample human data to know that cannabis is safe and effective at mitigating the symptoms of a number of these diseases. And in some cases, it may also hold the potential to modulate the course or the progress of some of these diseases as well.